Thank you for joining us today for our reflection from grace. We're actually doing this on Friday rather than Thursday. Just got a little tied up yesterday, but just want to thank you for being with us today. We have some good news I'm excited to share with you if you have not yet heard already. My son and daughter-in-law had their very first child this past Wednesday, and Jenna Page was born on her due date at 2:22 p.m. And if you can see this, here's just a little picture of her. Looking forward to seeing her back in July when we go out there for July to see her. But Jenna Page was born on Wednesday the 17th at 2:22, and she was in room 2222. So already she's paying attention to details. But just thank you for praying for her and praying for them during this delivery time. But we're just excited. New grandparents here, so just pray for them if you would. And I'd like just to share some thoughts today. Earlier in the week, we talked about and we discussed about thinking biblically in the times and days in which we are living in, and all the rigmarole, all the uncertainty. But we as believers should always need to think biblically. And today what I'd like us to look at is how we are to act. Now, I'm just going to focus today on just one aspect of acting and how we're supposed to act. I'm not sure if you ever heard this phrase before. I've heard it a number of times growing up, and it was this: don't jump to conclusions. I think that don't come to a conclusion or a determination without hearing and considering the facts or important information. I was once on a jury, and the judge had told the jurors that as we went off to deliberate, even before the trial even started, that we are not to have preconceived ideas or thoughts, whether guilty or innocent, in our minds, but we are supposed to listen to the facts, listen to the witnesses, listen to the evidence presented to us before we come to any conclusion. And I guess it is scriptural, it's biblical, not to jump into conclusions. And I'm not sure, we've all had times when we've jumped into conclusions. One of my children would come to me, and I would not be listening to every word that they say, but you listen to key words and you hear friends, gone, not sure. Well, you automatically jump to that conclusion. No, you're not going to go. Or no, I'm not going to let you do this. But as Bible-believing Christians, we ought to hear the facts and hear all the information before we react in the way we act. And Solomon, in the book of Proverbs, gives us a verse that I'd like to share with you this morning. Proverbs 18:13. Solomon says these words: "He that answereth a matter before he heareth it, it is folly and shame unto him." Now, as we tear that verse apart, that word answereth means to react verbally as to a question or to give some sort of response. All right, he that answereth, he that giveth a response. The word matter in the Hebrew talks about a statement. He that answereth a matter, a statement, some words. And then another key word in that verse is heareth, that listened, to hear, to understand. So he that answereth a matter, he that comes to a preconceived conclusion or determination before he even hears the matter, the statement, the issue, the facts, the evidence. He goes on and says, it is folly and shame unto him. A person who jumps to a conclusion without hearing facts about that matter, Solomon says that he's foolish. One author wrote this: a person who gives answers without listening is like a fool who only seeks to express his or her opinion. And that word foolish carries the idea of, folly carries the idea of foolish, a stupid mistake, a silly mistake. And the word shame carries the idea of insult. Now, I was going to say reckon, good old southern term. I would reckon that each and every one of us have been on either side of this. Perhaps someone will come to you and they will already have their preconceived determination about what the matter is even before hearing one person's opinion. That's been done. I've been a pastor now here for 7 years, and I've had people do that to me. And I've also been on the other side when you go to someone with the facts, with the information to someone, and then you get brushed away. Like your opinion doesn't matter. What's more important is what I think. And we've been probably on both sides of that. And it's an insult. Like our thoughts, our facts, our opinion does not matter to someone that we're going to. And over the last number of months, we've seen so much violence and hatred to other people that are human beings, all made in the image of God, Americans. And they come to a preconceived idea of innocent or guilt even before hearing the matter. And can I challenge us today as Christians, as people who claim the name of Christ, that we ought to and we must hear the situation, hear the facts, before we come to any type of conclusion. Whether it's here at the church, whether it's out in society, whether it's in your home. We ought to do and act scripturally. So we think scripturally, we act scripturally, and this is just one thought about acting scripturally. And next week we'll look at how we are to respond scripturally. So that's a thought for today, and just glad that you're able to join us today. Thank you, and have a good weekend.